What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday to you all. If you haven't figured out, my name is Nick. It's an Ask Nick episode. Joined by Chrissy.
That's me. My name is Chrissy.
How are you?
I'm good. Actually, my name's Chris, but
I heard you went to Jonathan's new pool over the weekend.
I did. I went to go visit Jonathan Bennett in Palm Springs and James.
How was that?
It did not suck.
Great.
They're great hosts. It was fun to hang out with friends. I tried an olive off their front yard tree. It was disgusting.
I don't think I did anything exciting.
No, I tried that Tinder date. It didn't go well.
Well, shit happens.
Moving on.
It's fine.
Next one.
It's all right. You swung and missed.
I swung and a miss.
It's fine.
That's okay. No love lost.
Totally fine. Great episode for you today. Some really fascinating callers. We got some, I don't know. It's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for sending your questions. We always need more. We always need keep it spicy. I know there's someone listening who's thought about, should I tell my story? Should I let my freak flag fly? And there's no judgment. Come in, talk about
it.
Be anonymous. And
we welcome you.
We always appreciate you guys sharing your story. So thank you. And if you're looking for some amazing hot tea and bachelor reality TV conversation, check out my Patreon. Everyone's loving. I'm just letting you guys know, because I know you've checked it out. I know you've thought of signing up. And you've been like, I don't know, but everyone's loving it, and I don't want you, dear listener, to miss out. I'm just saying. It's for you, not for me. It has nothing to do with the fact I just bought a house and I'm trying not to
with you whatsoever.
I'm trying, like, it's either this or OnlyFans. So,
I mean, wait, what's OnlyFans?
you just get naked, I think, isn't it? Right?
We're not there yet, are we?
I hope
you're not there yet, are you?
Anyways, check it out. It is really good, and we got some great stuff coming up. I know you will love it. Other than that, let's just get to our callers.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
So my name's Paulina, and I'm from Dallas. So
How old are you, Paulina?
Basically, I'm 25.
Okay.
So basically, I guess I'll just get right to it. My boyfriend and I have been dating for a little over 3 years now. And like, we have like a really good relationship, like good communication and stuff. But basically I'm his first girlfriend. And so like, since we've been dating for a little while now, people have been asking us like, okay, like when are y'all going to get married and stuff? And like, we're not like in a rush or anything, but like just having people ask me that kind of made me wonder like, oh, like since I've been his only girlfriend, like, does he want to try and date someone else like before we like take that next step, because I like want him to be sure and stuff. And so I asked him about it a little bit ago, and he was like, well, yeah, like I'm a little bit curious. And so we decided that we would try an open relationship and like basically just like he could go on dates and stuff. And just like nothing physical, just like kind of date and see like if he found a connection with anyone else. And then after that, like quarantine happened, and like he got on the apps for a little bit, but didn't have like a lot of luck. And like dating is just weird right now. So like, I guess my question is, once things hopefully go back to normal, like, should we try to stay in an open relationship and like keep dating? And I don't know, I guess I don't really know where to go from here.
Why do you want, so if I'm understanding correctly, you have this boyfriend, which you love, and everything overall seems happy and good?
Yeah, everything's really happy and stuff, but like, so I've like dated people before, and so I pretty much like, I think I know like what I'm looking for, but since he hasn't really dated anyone, like I want him to like be sure before we take the next step. If
so
that makes sense.
You're not on the, he's doing this, but you're not.
Well, so he told me, he was like, if you want to, like, obviously you're totally fine to do that. And so like, I got on the apps for a little bit and I got some matches, but like, I didn't really feel like messaging any of the guys. And so like after 2 weeks, I just like got off and
out of curiosity,
kind of just left it at that.
Out of curiosity, So this conversation happened before quarantine, then quarantine happens and everyone's kind of...
Yeah.
How are things between you two during that period?
Like during quarantine period?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, it's been... like everything's still been fine. Like we still have a good relationship. Like we don't really fight that much. And like when we do, like we can work through things. Like it wasn't anything that like
who keeps bringing this up? You, him?
Both of us? I don't know. I mean, it depends. Like sometimes I'll bring it up. Sometimes he'll bring it up. I don't know.
I feel like what you guys are doing almost could sound like really mature and progressive, but I think quite honestly it comes from a place of immaturity and insecurity.
Okay.
From a maturity standpoint, listen, it's great that you have this perspective of like, hey, let's be real. Like there's other people you could be attracted to and maybe I'm just your first, and that's great, but that's an insecurity speaking up about yourself, about wanting to make sure he, has had all this variety and chose you, as opposed to like he's just doesn't know any better. And that's an insecurity that you must have. And,
I mean, yeah, you're probably right, I guess.
And then you being the cool girlfriend and gave him this option to like maybe meet other women. So he's like, cool, sure, and maybe because he is, some guys might get insecure about that, but it sounds like he maybe has in a mature way, but like, yeah, maybe I haven't, maybe I should tap into that. But, but it also doesn't sound like you guys have this like burning desire to do that yet, or the relationship isn't stale in a sense. I guess what I'm saying is, if you're asking me without knowing a ton about you guys, I would table that for a later date. I mean, people in open relationships are in open relationships because that whole concept is fine to them. It doesn't matter if they're dating or engaged or married, Yeah. It's about trust between the two people. It's about communication. It's about exploring things. And so for all the people I know, and I don't know a ton, but all the people I do know in open relationships, a lot of them are married and some of them are in very serious relationships. This idea that you're doing it to like serve some sort of long-term purpose to make sure you guys are truly in love with each other doesn't seem like that's what open relationships should really be about.
Well, I guess that's kind of like part of the issue too, is I don't even necessarily know if I want to get married.
Okay. Well, that's a whole different issue. And that's fine. You are only 25. So just date the guy and see where it goes. Listen, if you guys want to invite being in an open relationship, but I feel like that's something you do later in life when, maybe you are just kind of bored of having sex with the same person or, and I don't think that's just the case. I think some people just start a relationship and they're always in an open relationship.
Right.
But you guys, it just seems, I don't think it should be based off insecurities of wanting to make sure.
Okay.
All of the people I know in open relationships are incredibly confident with one another's feelings towards each other. They have no questions about like how much their partner loves them and vice versa. They are really on the same page. They have a lot of trust. They're very confident in that person's feelings towards them.
I mean, I definitely am confident that like we both love each other. That's like, I don't think that's really like my question. I guess I just like, I don't know if like, because I've dated people before. And so I think I kind of like know. And so I don't.
You keep saying that, and I don't want to, at the risk of sounding condescending, you are only 25. And even if you dated, you maybe 10, like you might, and I don't know if you will be, you might be a different person in 5 years. You will be a different person. How different? I don't know. You are going to evolve and your wants and needs might change, right? Like I'm just simply saying, you guys could get married tomorrow and at 30, you wake up and be like, I don't like you at all. You can't predict the future, right? So you keep saying like, well, I've dated some people, so I know what I want. You do right now. Maybe he knows what he wants. You're being kind of sending to him to suggest that he doesn't know what he wants just because he hasn't fucked as many people as you have. You know?
I see what you mean. Yeah. Like,
so, and I do this a lot. I can be, I think for other people, like, well, if I've done this and then you have to do that, and
right.
It doesn't always work that way. Right.
Right. I guess I'm always just trying to think like 5 steps ahead. And so I'm like,
I get that.
Okay. Like
if
we're, yeah.
I get that. And I can relate and I understand. And so use this maturity, this open-mindedness that you guys both seem to have, I think is a really interesting and cool thing. And it might serve the relationship well in the future.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's something you guys really need in the moment. I mean, if you guys are enjoying each other and having a good time and having fun and having good sex and generally aren't getting annoyed with each other, that's good. Enjoy that,
Sign me up.
Yeah.
A lot of people are looking for that. So be fine with it. You might have opened Pandora's box with him if your biggest need is making sure he's okay. Assume he's okay.
Okay. Until he's not.
Until he's not. If he all of a sudden starts being like, well, I kind of would like to. Well, maybe you then opened up Pandora's box. And maybe then you kind of almost have to let them explore that. Or you also have the right to be like, change my mind. That at any moment, people can change their points of view in a relationship, right? But
yeah.
Sometimes don't get in the trouble of being like, I'm so open-minded and so progressive. I'm like the chillest person ever. And then all of a sudden he's doing all this shit and you're just like, what is going on here? I don't know if you're there yet, but yeah, I just don't know if the reasons why you've gotten yourself into the situation are necessarily for the best reasons. But I mean,
what would be like a good reason then, I guess, just like,
you guys are you are in a relationship that's built on a lot of trust and communication. You're both equally confident in how each other feels about the other person. You're not as confident. But the fact, you are worried that there's a party that's worried that a big reason why he's with you is because he doesn't know any better. And that might be 100% in your head, but that's still, and I think that's an insecurity you have. So you got to figure out how to get over that. Him fucking other girls and coming back to you might not be the most productive way. It could, I don't know, it could work.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think the reason why I'm probably insecure is because like my last like 3 boyfriends, I've been like their first girlfriend. I don't know if that's just like my type. I don't know.
I mean, listen, it could listen, I'm not saying it won't work. It is a risk. And maybe you are willing to have that risk. I mean, maybe there's something very intoxicating about him, you being in control, you giving him permission to go out with this girl and do whatever he wants. And maybe he has sex with other girl and he comes back and he's like, all I was thinking about was you. And that might, if you're not might make you feel like really fucking good. I don't know. It might not. If I had to guess, I don't know this guy, but you might be, if there's an alpha in this relationship, not to take anything away from him, you might be it.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
So he's like, I don't know. She's fucking telling me to do this. Maybe I should. Because you're the one who's always telling him what to do.
I don't think I tell him what to do.
I'm not saying you are. I don't know. But he's also a dude. He's just like, I don't know. Does your girlfriend like you fuck other girls? Because mine does. Like, I mean, he is a guy, too. He's a 25-year-old guy who hasn't had... Yeah. I mean, listen, the truth is, yes, are there other women he'll be attracted to? 100%. That's not a question.
Yeah.
So
and that's like, that's whatever. Like, I feel like I'm not going to be like, no, you like can't look at like other girls, I'm not.
Well, that's
like
the thing
that,
too.
But...
It's like you're introducing doubt in his mind. It's that classic case to be like, I don't know, you're just like so hot. I just don't know if I'm hot enough for you. It's like, babe, you're totally hot enough for me. And then you just say it over and over and you're just like, you know what? Maybe I am too hot for them. I don't know. They tell me all the time.
Yeah.
So like, you're just like, well, maybe there's other girls for you. Maybe there's other girls for you. And he's just like, I'm pretty happy with you. And you keep telling him there's other girls for him.
Okay. I mean, you're definitely right. You like pretty much nailed it right in the head.
So if sometime like down the road, you guys are in this relationship and very happy and very comfortable with each other, you want to explore an open relationship because it brings some sort of excitement and this connection that you guys could experience because it really is about you guys and you're just inviting this third person in that's in no way going to have the connection you two have, then great, go explore that. But do it for that reason, not to like fucking poke holes in each other's sincerity.
Okay. And I think that I think both of us in the future, like I do think we like want to like explore. So I think that might be something that maybe down the road, but I see what you mean. Like do it for those reasons, not for like trying to be like controlling and stuff.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All
Thanks.
right.
Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Best of luck.
Okay. Thanks, Nick.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I think most of you know this, but my brother is a dentist.
Really?
Yeah.
You have a brother and a sister for everything.
And if I could have my dentist brother clean my teeth every day, I would. But he lives in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which is a whole nother story. But the next best thing for me is my brush.
Your brush.
My brush.
It's fun to say.
It is.
Brush.
Brush is an insanely amazing electrical toothbrush that and I say this because in 2 minutes, it gives me the same cleaning that my brother Luke could give me.
At the dentist. That's amazing.
I don't know how he feels about the fact that I'm replacing him, but I also think he subscribes to me having wonderful dentist quality clean teeth.
That's amazing.
I also haven't gone to the dentist in like 2 years. So I need my brush. I need my brush.
And you have a black one. I have a pink one.
It's very masculine for me. Yours is
it's pink.
Not that, if a male wanted a pink toothbrush, it's totally fine too. I also, it's sleek. Other electric toothbrushes I've had have this whole like system.
And it's bulky.
Has a nice little charging port. Puts right on there.
I like it because you don't also get it confused with your partner's toothbrush.
Yeah, you can have well, if we had partners, it'd be great. But maybe we do.
Maybe we don't. Maybe. Anyway.
It gives you a dentist quality cleaning in just 2 minutes without the costly markups other brand ads have. And with its sleek design and 3 stylish colors to choose from, Barouge has advanced features you'll love, like 6 unique cleaning modes, smarter timer, and quad pacer. 4-week battery life. That's amazing. Magnetic USB power charging station and a sleek carry case for easy travel. I can vouch for that. But be warned, a brush this good doesn't just clean your mouth. It steals your heart. If you have a mouth in need and a heart to steal, Brush
is the brush for you.
And it probably won't ghost you.
No.
Get 15% off your Brush kit when you use promo code VIALL at Brush.com. That's BRUUSH.com. Promo code VIALL. A mouth in need.
A mouth in need.
Liquid IV. Oh my God, their drink energy multiplier is amazing. I'm using it before I work out now.
It's the newest in their line.
It's great. It has a kind of a green tea taste. It's amazing. It's delicious. I love it. Also, my lemon lime is traditionally my favorite on kind of a daily basis.
Yeah, the green tea taste is good because it's made with like matcha and green tea for energy.
Is that why it tastes so good? Yeah. I don't know, but I'm so hydrated. It's insane. My skin's feeling fresh and clean.
Your energy's good. It's better for you than coffee, and you drink a lot of coffee, so this is better for you.
But also, when I have a couple glasses of wine, polish it off with some liquid IV, and I feel just sprightly. Really good.
The premium matcha and green.
Their energy multiplier, it's like drinking 1 to 2 cups of coffee without the crash. That's true. Contains a mixture of matcha, other things I can't pronounce, and ginger that's high in antioxidants that helps improve mood and focus. A healthy alternative to traditional energy drinks. Yes, true. No artificial flavors or preservatives. Liquid IV in general, it's like drinking 2 to 3 glasses of water. We all know how exhausting drinking water is. Liquid IV is available nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you just go to liquidiv.com and use code VIALL at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you use promo code VIALL at liquidiv.com. Start fueling your adventures today at liquidiv.com, promo code VIALL. Get hydrated, people. How's it going?
Hello, I'm Diana. I'm 28. I live in Toronto.
Hi, Diana. How can I help?
Sorry?
I said, hi, Diana. How can I help?
Oh, hi. I guess my question, so I got out of a breakup in January. I got out of a relationship in January. And it was a serious whatever relationship. All the things. Anyways, quarantine. Tried to get back on the dating
serious
wagon.
Whatever? Like, who broke up with who?
Well, I'm like over it, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't. He broke up with you?
Pardon?
He broke up with you?
Yes.
Okay.
It was surprising, but like you try and move on, whatever. It is what it is, right? You can't do anything. So trying to date, trying to get out there, joined a couple apps. I have a friend who has been like, we've gone out a couple times over the past few years. We always try something and then maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it does. It never works. Anyways, I'm wondering if there needs to be sparks or chemistry to continue dating somebody.
Are you dating this guy?
We've gone out a couple times and I'm genuinely trying, like in my mind, to like on paper, he's like the perfect person.
Okay.
And in theory, it should work.
What does that mean?
Why? Just like all of the things, all of the boxes, all of the, everything just would make sense in theory. But there's no like,
you don't like,
when you're with someone, you want to be excited to see them. You want to be like eager to see them again. Excited.
Why? So, but this has been going on with this guy for some time now.
Yeah.
So you hung out with him before your last boyfriend who broke up with you.
Yes.
And he really likes you?
Apparently, yeah. He says he does.
Has it always been the case?
I think so.
Does he know how you feel about him? Which is like
indifferent?
Yeah. Lukewarm?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's super unfair, but I'm just wondering, I know it's unfair. So do I even try? Or do
why do you want to try? What's the reasons for trying?
Because like I said, like in theory, I'm 28, like in theory, all of the things sound good.
I don't know what that means.
You know what it means. It just means like,
I really don't.
Well, like if I want to settle down, I want to, have a family.
Yeah.
But I also want to be excited about a person. I want to.
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, your excitement that you are about someone is valid. And I think we all want to be excited. I mean, in terms of that excitement eventually will wear down, so to speak. And, especially when you're talking about getting married and having kids and starting a family. But you also are you physically attracted to this person? Okay, so no. Yeah. So that's not perfect. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you're getting antsy, when this other guy broke up with you, how long were you actually alone for?
How long were we, sorry?
When this other guy broke up with you in January, how long were you alone for?
Well, I'm still alone. So actually. Yeah.
But like, have you ever been content with being alone?
Oh yeah. I was single before him for 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's not that.
No.
I mean, listen,
I think about it like, sorry, someone told me that it's not all romantic comedies and you don't always feel excited and butterflies and, it's not all of that.
Was that him trying to convince you to like him?
No, it was actually my uncle. And I get that. He said at some point you have to make the decision to just, be loyal to a person and be happy, and you make that decision and you move forward. And I mean, do you? To me, that seems unfair. To me, that seems like, eh.
I mean, listen, the truth is people get together for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah.
Some people have more of a understanding or a very practical relationship. some people don't. It's not for me. It doesn't sound like it's for you. But the important thing here is like, you're just getting impatient. You know, you probably aren't totally over this last relationship, which is totally fine. You found comfort in this friend who's nice and nice to be around. And he, for the most part, does a great job of filling in that gap that your ex left, right? And it's fun to see movies with, come over, watch movies, hang out, you know, just kind of play the role of boyfriend, which for the most part is fine. It's nice, you know, and you probably enjoy being around him. But clearly it's missing something, and you are only 28.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Are you physical with him?
No.
Not now, but you have been.
With him? No, we've only ever kissed once.
Even that, it sounds like you want to throw up in your mouth.
Pardon?
Even saying that sounds like you want to throw
Yeah.
up in your mouth. I mean, I don't know why this is a discussion as far as this other.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
You know, I'd make it very clear to him. I mean, it's fine to hang out with him. It's fine to even let him, you know, fill that role as long as he knows that it's never going to happen. You know, and don't don't try to deal with your ex and you might not meet someone till you're 30. I don't know.
That's fair.
I love stylish, modern, comfortable furniture.
That's a good thing.
Because Article is kicking ass in that department. If you are looking, they have great outdoor furniture, indoor furniture, tables, couches, sectionals. It combines the curation of a boutique furniture store with the comfort and simplicity of shopping online. True that. Super affordable. They make the purchase process and delivery process easy and seamless. If you happen to change your mind, because people do that, they make that process even easy. They'll come and get it for you, swap it out, get something new. And again, fair prices. You can save up to 30% over traditional retail prices. Article is able to keep their prices low by cutting out the middleman and selling directly to you. No showrooms, no salespeople, no retail markups. All that nonsense, they just get rid of it. Fast, affordable shipping is available across the U.S. and Canada and is free on orders over $999. All in-stock items are delivered in 2 weeks or less, 30-day return policies with simple returns and exchanges. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchases of $100 or more. Go to article.com/VIALL and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/VIALL to get $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. But it seems kind of insane to go, oh, well, you're here and you seem fine. I guess we should date.
I know. And that's what I mean. Like, it feels unfair, but also feels unfair to me as much as
That's what I mean, listen, everyone has those thoughts. I've had that thought of like, you know, fuck it, do I just like pick someone? Just.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Don't waste a lot of time with this other person, you know, trying to make something into something that's not, just because you're lonely or bored or because your uncle thinks you just need to pick someone. I'm sure he's nice. You want to be attracted to someone, whether it's their physical appearance or their essence or something about them. You like just not being a dick and wanting to have kids is not probably enough for anyone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
All right. Well, best of
Awesome.
luck.
Thank you so much.
All right, no problem.
Bye.
Bye. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm 27. And I wanted to talk to you because I'm bisexual, and usually that's not too much of an issue, but when I've noticed that when I date straight men, sometimes it seems uncomfortable for them. And I try not to like present it as like a cancer diagnosis. It's not a big deal. But I've noticed that like sometimes for them, I feel like it can come up early on. I usually try to bring it up more casually. And I feel like often it's either interpreted as like either a red flag, like I'm not going to want to commit, or like they're like way too excited. Like they're like, okay, like let's have a threesome right now. And I'm like, that is not an entry level item. Like we are like very early on. Like, why are you bringing that up? Like you would not bring that up with a straight girl.
My sexuality is not a gateway drug to your
right. And so, but it happens a fair enough amount. And like these are like progressive people. They're not like, these are not guys who
that was a
like,
question I had too. Yeah, I mean, you're calling from New York. It's not like
like I don't think of these as like homophobic people, but like I'm often like surprised, and like I think to a certain extent like it's a nice natural filter, but I also wonder like if it's like partly the way that I'm bringing things up, or if there's something that
how do you bring it up?
Usually, I try not to have like this like grand coming out moment. It's more of a like, you know, if we're talking about people we've dated in the past, or if somebody says like, oh, when's the last time you were in a relationship, or like, I don't know, like a COVID question I've gotten is like have you gone on a date during COVID? And like the last person I dated before COVID was a woman, and so like it does come up. And a very common follow-up question is like, are you more into women or men? And that's kind of I think it's a well-meaning question, but the premise of it is not something that resonates with me. And so I just don't.
What do you mean? Just for the people listening, just let's be honest. There's a lot of people who have that question. I have bisexual friends. I don't ask them those questions, but I sometimes see them date more men or women, you know, so then there's a general assumption. Maybe that's just, you know, luck of the draw in terms of who they're meeting kind of thing. But there's a lot of ignorance around this topic. So for you, is it just a matter of who you meet?
I'm happy to talk about like any aspect of being bisexual, basically. Like I feel like there's not enough out there about it. And
can I ask you a question? As a woman who's bisexual, do you feel like you're unfairly do you think there's a lot of unfair stereotypes about your sexuality, specifically as a bisexual woman?
Oh, totally. And like there's like, I would say more than anything, there's just assumptions. There's just a lot of assumptions made about like who I am, what's important to me, what I'm looking for. And like some of them are true. Like sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not.
What are some true and untrue stereotypes?
I mean, and it also like, I think an important thing to like, I feel like I should preface everything I'm going to say with like, I can talk about like what it means for me to be bisexual, but like it means something different for like every single person. And a lot of my friends are bisexual, which just, I think it's just like how I've met my friends. And like, we are all so different, and like all of us would answer these questions totally differently. But like, for instance, like when people ask me about like threesomes, I'm like, I'm not interested now that you've brought that up on a first date. Now that you've brought that up in that way, like not interested. But like, it's not inherently something I'm not interested in, but like, it's something that like takes a ton of communication. It's not this like casual thing to bring up. Like, I think there are some people who think it's casual, and like, I'm happy for those people. But for me, it's like, there's a ton of trust involved in something like that.
Sure. So you're just saying you're a normal person.
Yeah.
Because like normal people, regardless of your sexuality, might be interested in the possibility of exploring the threesome at some point in their lives, but they find it to be a little abrupt. You know, I don't want to speak for women, but if I were to guess that, like, you know, guys being the horny guys are like, I mean, I will have a threesome whenever you want, or versus like a woman saying, I'm open to it, but yes, like if your objective is to have a threesome on the first date, then maybe you're not looking for a relationship. And so regardless of your sexuality, you're saying you're just a normal person who may at some point be into it.
Yeah. And I think I'm just trying to figure out like if there are ways that like I can handle it where like I will be taken more seriously than in others. Like if there are some ways that like I mean, and I have queer friends who I've talked to this about, but like, I am kind of interested in like a guy's perspective, honestly, because like,
there is definitely a stereotype when it comes to women being bisexual with guys. I think some guys, when they hear bisexual from women, they don't think, oh, well, you're also into women. They think, ooh, she's into some weird shit. Like she might, and I think that's why you're getting that question from guys early on. The invitation, what they think is an invitation to like turn it up a notch in terms of like, oh, so you're into threesomes on the first date. Because if I'm not saying this is right. I'm just and I'm not speaking for all men, but there's definitely an unfair perception from guys about that. And I think that comes from this level of comfort that men have seen women do with one another, whether it's like to get guys excited there's just this level of comfort they see from women who identify as straight. And then it kind of muddies the waters, if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? Did I make any sense?
Yeah, no.
Stories like that over time that almost, I feel like, creates this unfair stereotype towards women who identify as bisexual, who have had relationships with women and relationships with men, who like, it's about the relationship. It's not about the sex. It's not about the sex is a part of the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like it doesn't register that they can just be monogamous with a male and monogamous with a female, and it's just a regular relationship.
To some people,
they automatically think of it in a sex way instead of a relationship way.
Yes, I think that's true of a lot of men.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, my position has changed only because I have women friends who are bisexual, and I've had these conversations with them, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true. What an ignorant way for me to have thought back in the day when it was just like, and I think it's just because, we all have ignorant thoughts because of what we see in our daily lives, and we identify that within as normal, even though it's more comes from a place of curating our world or coming from a more of an isolated world. I think in your case, a ways to try to circumvent that is almost, it sounds like you want to be open. Like, this is who I am. I'm fine with who I am. I'm proud of who I am. I'm not, and I want whoever I'm dating, guy or girl, to know who I am. I get all that. But when it comes to guys and going on dates with guys, I don't think there's anything wrong with holding information back a little bit longer than you otherwise would. Just because men aren't dumb, simple sexual creatures, progressive or not, I think, and you're going to create that, that bias then comes in, I wish there was a world where I could be like, yeah, that's just the minority of men, and you're never, I just think there's a lot of ignorance in that topic. There's a lot of stereotypes that still come out. So don't feel like you need to bring it up all the time. Why do you need to bring it up on a first date?
That's the thing, is like, usually like I'm not bringing it up. Like, it's not me saying like, all right, I have something to tell you. It's like an answer to a question. Here's
the way I look at it. Yeah, but be vague. Here's the way I look at it. I like to think I'm a pretty understanding guy. I've gotten more understanding as I've gotten older and dated different types of women and been in situations where, as you live life, you become less judgmental of other people because you've experienced more things. So like, in order to be less judgmental with yourself, you're just like, well, yeah, I used to think that was crazy, but then I did it, so it's not so crazy anymore. And what I'm saying is, if I were to date a woman, right? And let's say she was just not lying, but she just was not like specifically open about every sexual partner, specific maybe her interest in women right away. And then let's say on date 5 or 6, where things were really progressing and we were seeing like this was going somewhere, and she sat me down. She said, hey, listen, I want to tell you something. I'm bisexual. Do you have any questions? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, why the fuck did you not tell me you were hiding something from me? And maybe you said like, listen, I didn't tell you because I found that when I was open about this right away, these are reactions I had. And I wasn't saying that I didn't know anything about you, and I just wanted to get to a place where I felt comfortable, and now I feel comfortable with you, and that's why I'm telling you. I would be like, oh, wow, thanks for telling me. And now, I have some questions, and let's talk. And I wouldn't make her feel judged. And what I'm saying is if a guy, has a reaction that's negative down the road because you didn't tell him right away, then he's just kind of a dick anyways. Like this idea that why didn't you share this with me? It's like, I don't know. I fucking barely knew you. We've been on 5 dates. Like there's no playbook that says at date 3 or 4, you need to open everything up about yourself and they need to know all your secrets. And you have a right to like tell people what you want to tell them at a pace in which you want to tell them. Especially before defining any relationship. I mean, eventually, before you define the relationship, you should be honest with this. But some people take fucking years to define a relationship nowadays. If you haven't listened to this podcast, I've been dating her for like 13 months, and like I'm pretty sure we should only hang it. Like, so in that case, like, why do you need to tell them, about every little thing? Save that for someone that you like as you get to know this guy. He doesn't say those types of things. And, listen, even like, or he's just willing to like, have a discussion with you so that if he maybe thinks more in kind of an ignorant way or just kind of, just like, listen, guys say things and I'm not saying it's okay, but just because he might have an ignorant point of view about you being a woman who's bisexual doesn't mean he couldn't be enlightened, but find out if it's a guy who you think is willing to be enlightened over time. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense.
So if you are willing to talk to them and enlighten them about why you're there or who you are, that's entirely up to you. I don't feel like you should feel the pressure to do that with every guy, knowing that it just might not be normal for them. So the question is, do you want to waste time with guys? And there's a lot of them, probably the majority of guys who it's still not, they're still not familiar with what bisexual means for women that they might date, right? They think of bisexual as like I don't know what they think, but I think a lot of straight men are still not like don't totally understand what it means to potentially date a bisexual woman.
I think that's the question I need to be asking myself is how much I want to put up with. Yeah.
And I think how much do you want to put up with? How much, I think it takes a progressive guy and not only a guy it just takes a guy who's like willing to have a conversation. And I think off the bat, you're right. It's going to take a guy that wouldn't be so defensive of you saying pretty early on, listen, I want to tell you this about me, but like, I'm going to be honest, and I don't want to sound like a jaded, angry person, but like, I get a lot of the same cliche questions that I would really not like to have to answer right now. So like, I get that you might not know, but like, do you mind we not getting in it right away?
I really like that.
And if a guy's like, gets defensive about that, then he just might, he's just not your guy. There's a vibe, right? So you'll sense it. You'll feel it, whether a guy just wants to talk to you because he thinks it's neat that he's talking to a bisexual woman, or he has some questions. He wants to get to know you, but there's a time and a place, but he's more focused about getting to know you. Best of luck. Sorry about us.
Thank you. You're okay.
All right. Take care.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How can I help? Oh, wait. I'm sorry. What's your name?
I'm Olivia and I'm 22.
Hi, Olivia, 22. How can I help?
So I have this friend. We've known each other since high school, and it's never been romantic or anything like that. But
is this friend a male or female?
He's a guy.
Okay.
He used to date my best friend back in high school, and the three of us were pretty close. But ever since they broke up, and even now into being an adult, every time that he like dates someone or is like in a relationship, he just like stops talking to me, but then doesn't tell me it's because he's dating someone. He just like stops responding. And then I find out on social media, oh, it's because he's dating someone. And I've always found that really weird because we've never dated each other and like there's never been feelings there for me. So it's like, can you not control yourself enough to like have a friend who's a girl while you're in a relationship at the same time? And then once they break up, then he hits me up again and we're talking and we're fine. And it's like nothing happened.
Yeah. I get the confusion. And I don't think it means that he must have feelings for you and therefore, he can't separate like feelings for you versus feelings for this new girl. You still kind of fill this role as a woman, even like my platonic women friends, especially as a single person, like it's not the same as hanging out with my boys. You know,
Right.
even though I don't want to make out with them, I don't want to hook up with them at all. We're totally friends. It's not the same as hanging out with my guy friends. We have different conversations. It's just different. And quite frankly, a lot of the times we spend time together would be like, you know, things I would do with a girlfriend, right? If I had one.
Right.
So when he gets a girlfriend, especially young love, if you will, you just don't have time for anyone else. You just you probably go a little overboard with the honeymoon phase, and friends sometimes get put on the wayside. Even buddies, sometimes that happens too. But definitely girlfriends, platonic girlfriends are the first to get put on the sideline for sure.
Yeah. He's told me before, like in years past, like when I'm with someone, I don't talk to any other girls, period. And I was like, I know, but like, it's not like that. And he's like, I don't care. I just do that because I don't want to talk to anyone else when I'm in a relationship. And I was like,
yeah,
okay, whatever. So,
I mean, that is probably a very honest thing he's saying. And
right.
You can disagree with whether that's mature or practical or whatever. And you could be right, all those things. That's just how he's deciding to go about it. So what I'm saying is his explanation is, you know, maybe it's because he just grew up in a traditional mindset. I want to be this great boyfriend and I don't want to create confusions. And I don't want to have conversations with my new girlfriend about like, well, she's just my friend and like, don't worry and whatever. He's just like, I'm the great boyfriend who's only going to hang out with my girlfriend. And, you know, what are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Except this time it was like really frustrating because we reconnected like during COVID, like when everything was everyone was staying home and no one was doing anything, and we were talking a lot, and then it was like in June he just stopped talking to me and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I've been working a lot, like, and I was like, okay, that's fine, like I get that, don't worry. And then I just saw last week that I actually forgot to say he got married like very quickly right out of high school to this girl he was dating, and
he's been married.
They got divorced. Well, yeah, they got divorced and then they got back together, just like dating. And I just saw last week on Facebook that he got back together with his ex-wife, and I was like, so you weren't working a lot. I was like, that's what it was. Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, listen, you just might need to move on from this friend.
I know, which is hard for me because I really care about him, but like it hurts.
I get it.
It hurts my feelings that like he does that, like especially because neither one of us like feel that way. But then to not even give me a heads up and just be like, hey, like I'm dating this girl and like I don't think we should talk. Like that's totally fine. I get that. But to just like not say anything and me just not hear anything from you, and then like, oh, you break up with this person or you divorce your wife, and then like, oh, now you can talk to me. Okay.
I get it. And it sucks. Friends use each other. And I don't even mean that as a negative way. I know that sometimes when I have plenty of women friends that I'm platonic friends with, right? And when they're single, I hear from them more often when they're not. And I know they hang out with me and because like, I'm just great to hang out with. But no, but what I'm saying is like, there's no like, nothing's going to happen. They know nothing's going to happen. But I'm still, I think for some of them, still filling this role of like boyfriend. Does that make sense at all? They're not thinking about it. They're not saying, well, like, they're not wanting to be. It's a different dynamic. And they're using me in a sense. I know, like, I don't mean that in like I'm being used, but like friends play roles in our lives. This particular friendship is a bit one-sided and it is too selfish, right? Because like sometimes that can happen from time to time. And sometimes, you know, I can even I've said to friends, it's like, well, fuck, man. Like, I get that you have a boyfriend now, but like, it would be nice to hang out with you. And I know that maybe I'm a little used, felt a little used, but like, and that's okay sometimes, because sometimes you just got to be there for a friend, you know, like you kind of selflessly are there. But this particular friendship and this particular guy, there's no balance, right? He comes and goes whenever there's a repetitive pattern and this almost kind of toxic behavior on himself. Like, you know, like chances are this rekindling with his ex, there's a good chance it won't work out, you know? And when
it didn't the last 2 times.
Fine.
So
and when it does, he'll probably come back in. You know what I'm saying? Without any disregard for the coming and leaving and how it impacts you. So like sometimes as friends, we can use each other, right? And sometimes it feels a bit one-sided, and once in a while that's okay. And sometimes you communicate with friends saying, wow, man, I just kind of felt a little used there, or it felt like, yeah. And the other friend's like, you know, you're right. I'm sorry. I was being a little selfish and I understand that. I'll try not to do that. Like that's what happens in friendships. You communicate, you talk, but you're communicating this and he's basically saying, so what? This is what I do. And you know, to some degree, he's giving you, you know, I'm not saying it's okay, but he is being honest at least and avoiding confusion. And he's telling you this is what he does.
Yeah. Well, this time I was talking to him and I told him that I was like, it really hurts me when you do that. And he was like, I'm not going to do that again this time.
And then he did.
And I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, I'm hoping that you don't. And then he did. And I think you're right about maybe it being time to move on because
I don't think it's going to change.
I can't make him care about me if he doesn't, and that's just
correct.
The truth.
Yeah.
I also don't appreciate him lying and being like, oh, I've just been working so much lately. Like that might be true, but that was not the reason that you weren't talking to me.
Fine, but that might be true and you have a right to be mad, but don't waste energy determined to get these answers. You know what I'm saying? Like he lied. And what do you want? What's going to make you feel better? Him admitting it? Like, you know, he lied.
Right.
And you know the reason he lied. And I'm not saying it's okay, but you're like, well, he lied. He lied. You know, you keep going back to that as if like, well, I'm going to move on from this friendship, but I need to know why he lied. It's like, you know why he lied.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's just very hard for me to cut ties with people that I care about.
I understand.
It's like, I'm like such a loyal friend that it's like, it really takes a lot for me to like,
and I get
drop you.
Yeah, I get that. I can relate to that. Loyalty means a lot to me, but if he's not willing to reciprocate that loyalty, then, you know, he's not going to be the last friend you lose.
No.
Friends come and go too sometimes. Not all friends are meant to be lifelong friends.
Yeah, and
especially
I don't need to keep getting hurt if trying to keep a friend around that doesn't want to be there.
Totally. What was your question, Chrissy?
Well, I'm a girl, right?
Yeah.
I'm a girl and I have guy friends and I have girlfriends. And the way you sound is the way I sound when I care a little bit more for the guy than just a friend. Because if I have guy friends that are kind of like in and out and in and out and in and out, or as Nick is saying, just come kind of back and forth, like, you know, like, oh, hey, can you come hang my TV? You know, kind of fun, like every once in a while, like what's going on. It's a different, like, I don't have this like overwhelming, like, I'm so upset that he hurt my feelings because he was busy doing something else. It doesn't bother me that much. But if it's somebody that I have a little bit more of a like for, then it bothers me a little bit more.
Do you think there's any chance that you're suppressing some romantic feelings that you haven't allowed yourself to acknowledge because you assume he doesn't have them for you?
I mean, maybe. I think that what I did feel was like such a long time ago in high school, and then it was like he started dating my best friend, so it was like really not a thing, and I got over that quick. But I think that just he has always told me that like I feel like a sister to him, and I always felt like he felt like a brother to me, and so it was never like weird and romantic, but to me I was like, okay, like it's just a deeper like kind of friendship. then
But as
Deeper
girls,
how?
yeah. As girls,
Well,
sometimes
girls
what
are
we
guys.
do is we kind of like
Guys do
try to
too.
like keep that person in our lives because we want them no matter what. And we're like, okay, yeah, you're my brother.
Well, the big question is yeah, like what would you say if he's like, this might sound crazy. I know I've said a lot of shit about brother and sister, but I think I might love you. And I know that's scary
Yeah.
to even allow yourself because you'll be like, you probably, not only to me, you're always like, oh, we're friends. We're friends. I just want you to know we're friends.
Yeah.
We're totally friends. Ew.
Because it makes you the cool
Yeah.
chick friend.
Yeah. Or you're just like afraid to admit that maybe, well, he thinks of me as a sister and I want to fuck him.
yeah.
Been there.
Um,
But yeah.
but either way, he doesn't value your friendship or relationship or whatever it is the same way you want him to. And
Right.
there has been a consistent pattern that's not going to change.
No, you're 100% right. And I need to like realize that and then be okay moving on and not.
Frankly, my biggest fear for you is that if you get the courage to leave and then things don't work out with his ex and he gets bored and lonely, complacent, and thinks the only way he can get you back in his life is to like cross that bridge. Chrissy probably knows what I'm talking about here. And then convince you that there's like a chance that there's something there, but deep down there really isn't. He just doesn't want to be lonely.
Yeah.
And then he'll fuck you up for 4 more years.
I call it the save the best for last complex. The Vanessa
Yeah.
Williams complex. It's like you sit there and you stick around because you're hoping eventually he'll get through all these people and eventually he'll be like, oh my God, the person that I wanted was right there in front of me. I saved the best for last. It's
I
a hole.
think that I'd be a little bit better at like pushing that off because I didn't mention either because it's like adds more complications to the story. But with his ex-wife, he has 2 kids. And so since I'm
How old is
22,
he?
I'm like, listen,
How old is he?
he's like 22, 23.
Oh.
There's a lot going on in his life early.
Yeah, I know. So being 22, I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to be anyone's stepmom yet. So like that's an easy like way for me to be like,
Yeah, listen,
but-
I think you really should let this guy go
Yeah.
for all the reasons we've discussed. I think you should want to be someone's first choice, not their last. And there's no like overcomplicated reason of why, he's just, listen, you were close with him. You've clearly invested a lot of time with him. He means a lot to you. Those are all okay things. There's nothing to want, you don't have to be like, I never want to think of you. He played a nice role. He's a nice guy for the most part with some baggage and some shit that he has to deal with too. But just say goodbye and mourn the loss of a friend and recognize that it's just, he's taking up too much space for someone that you're just friends with. And if he decides to have more than those feelings, it's probably not coming from a place, a way you want someone to fall in love with you. This guy has a lot going on, and he's probably going to be playing catch up for most of his 20s. And by catch up, I mean, like it sounds like he does things and then thinks later and then reacts. And it's just going to be, chances are this guy's going to have a very messy 20s.
Oh, I would agree with that.
So do you want to be a part of that mess, or do you want to just be like, I was friends with this really nice guy for a few years and then that just kind of ran its course. And then I gave myself up. I've opened myself up to meeting new friends and maybe even new romantic partners. And next time you meet a guy that you like, just say you like him, be honest with yourself, and don't think, well, I'll just be friends with him, because that's easier than just being rejected by someone I say I like.
Okay, I will do that next time.
Yeah. And to be friends with people that the thought of them naked creeps you out.
Yeah. That's why I'm friends with Nick.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
That's the perfect definition of a friend right there.
Yeah. So, this friendship has an expiration date regardless. So it's either going to come from you or from him.
Yeah, and I need to be the bigger person and be like, I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Yeah. He does not value your friendship the way you want him to. And he's never going to.
Yeah, you're right. That will I need to like reconcile that and deal with that, but that's fine.
Also,
Obviously,
I mean, that just sounds like a fucking mess. I mean, nothing against guys who are 22 with kids. I'm just saying, he's like still growing up while trying to be a dad, and he's just this seems like a lot for you to.
yeah, no, I agree. I don't love the messiness, and I just graduated college. Like, I'm not trying to.
Yeah, but and this friendship seems like a mess too. So what I'm saying is, if you were just like, if you called me up and be like, if the problem was you guys are in love and he's on the same page with you, but like he's dealing with an ex and I'd be like, all right, well, just figure it out, you know? But like, there's like a mess on top of confusion on top of shit. He's, just walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right about that.
In the meantime, this mess has kept you preoccupied. And it's helped you feel needed.
Yup.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I bet you're always there for him to help him solve his mess.
Yeah. That's accurate.
So he takes up a lot of your time. So free it up.
I will.
It's not going to be easy. It's going to mourn a little bit. Give yourself some time to mourn the loss of a friend. That might take a few months. Just because you're sad doesn't mean he's special.
Okay, I'll remember that. Thank you for your advice and for being honest. That's what I need.
All right. You're going to be fine. I
Thank you.
promise.
Okay.
Tough love on yourself.
Yes.
All right.
For sure.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, that's a nice, robust episode. We got some bisexuality conversations. We got some open relationship conversations. Classic.
Some people who had some
I don't want to fuck my friend, but I want to fuck my friend.
Yeah, some underlying issues there when you really get down to it.
All great stuff. Thank you for having problems so that we can have a show.
But thank you for sharing.
Honestly.
And thank you for making it work. And thank you for taking the time to do it.
We do appreciate you people doing that. The lifeblood of this show, which as you all know is really therapeutic for me. So thank you. We appreciate you guys listening, tuning in. Tune in on Wednesday for
Kevin Hines,
fascinating discussion, a little heavy. We talk about suicide. Kevin is a survivor
from a suicide attempt.
From his own suicide attempt, and we talk about that. And I know I had some questions and some thoughts of my own on the topic, and I really appreciate Kevin telling his story. And
it's deep.
It's you should check it out.
Yeah, it's heavy, it's deep, but it's informative and can really help people and help you.
I also just think I think it's something people think about more than they talk about.
Definitely, people don't admit that they think about it as much as they don't.
So listen to that.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. We love you. Send in your reviews and your questions at asknick@castme.com, cast with a K. And other than that, we'll see you tomorrow.